You settle gently into the moment, as if the ground has been waiting for you all along, warm and patient beneath your body, steady enough to hold every thought until it softens and loosens its grip. Your shoulders sink. Your jaw relaxes. Even your attention seems to stretch out and rest, like a cat finding a patch of sun it has already chosen. Above you, leaves gather without effort. They do not crowd. They simply exist, layered and open, forming a loose ceiling of green that sways so slowly you almost miss the movement. Almost. You notice it anyway. You always do once you slow enough. You breathe in, and then out. The air drifts across your skin with no agenda. Somewhere far away, there is a faint hum, the kind that could be wind or distance, or simply the sound of the world continuing without asking you to participate. It is comforting to know that things can go on without your supervision. Even the leaves seem to agree. Light arrives in pieces, not all at once, never all at once. Sunlight slips through small openings between leaves, landing softly, like it is careful not to wake anything. It does not crash down. It does not announce itself. It simply appears, resting on leaf edges, sliding across veins, warming surfaces that already know how to receive it. You notice how nothing reaches upward. Nothing strains. Nothing tries. Plants do not chase the sun. They never have. They wait for it the way you might wait for sleep, not by pulling it closer, but by becoming still enough that it can find you on its own. You breathe in again, slow and unforced, letting the air fill your chest the way light fills the space between leaves. You breathe out longer this time, and something inside you settles a little deeper, as if your body remembers how to rest when given permission. The leaves above you are listening. That thought arrives quietly and stays. They listen the way old houses listen to rain, or the way the ocean listens to the moon. They listen without ears, without judgment, without hurry. Sunlight becomes a kind of lullaby here, a steady, ancient song that never rushes its own melody. If leaves had opinions, they would probably find the sun very polite. It always shows up from far away and never expects applause. A good guest, really. Predictable, warm, quiet, the kind you do not mind staying all day. You notice the color green not as a fact, but as a feeling. Feels cool even when it is warm. Feels calm even when the air shifts. The green seems to hold the light instead of reflecting it away, as if each leaf has decided that this glow is worth keeping for a while. This is where the conversation begins. Not with words, with waiting. Photosynthesis, though you do not need the word yet, lives inside this waiting. It is not an action scene. There are no sharp turns or sudden movements. It is a process built for patience, designed to unfold slowly enough that nothing overheats, nothing breaks, nothing panics. You rest here, beneath listening leaves, and your breathing begins to mirror theirs, if leaves could be said to breathe. In through tiny openings, out through gentle release. A rhythm so old it does not remember learning itself. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Sunlight continues to arrive without sound. It lands on the leaves the way a blanket lands on you, evenly, carefully, making no demands. The leaves accept it the way you accept warmth when you are already comfortable. There is a quiet humor in how serious life sounds when described quickly, and how calm it becomes when you slow down enough to actually watch it. Plants, after all, have been running entirely on vibes and sunlight for a very long time, and they seem perfectly content with that arrangement. You imagine the leaves as windows, not windows that let light pass straight through, but windows that welcome it inside and say, "Stay as long as you like." The glass is alive. The frames are flexible. Nothing slams shut. The air shifts again. Somewhere a leaf moves, just one, brushing another, making a sound so soft it barely exists. You notice anyway. Your attention has become gentle, too. You feel reassured without knowing why. Perhaps it is because nothing here is urgent. Nothing is trying to sell you improvement or speed or efficiency. The leaves are exactly as productive as they need to be, and they accomplish it all by staying open. Another breath. Slower now. Beneath this calm surface, something ancient is already happening. It does not announce itself. It does not require witnesses. It simply begins the way it always has, as soon as light touches green. You do not need to understand it yet. Understanding can wait. For now, noticing is enough. Feeling is enough. Being held by shade and warmth and drifting air is enough. The leaves continue listening. The sun continues singing. And somewhere inside that quiet exchange, the first notes of a much longer story are already forming, patiently, invisibly, as light prepares to move a little deeper inside the leaf. You remain where you are, still beneath the listening leaves, and notice that nothing has changed, yet everything feels slightly more awake. The ground is the same, the air is the same, and yet the light seems closer now, not brighter, just nearer, as if it has leaned in to join you. Sunlight arrives without sound. It always has. You do not hear footsteps. You do not hear a knock. There is no announcement. Light simply appears, resting on surfaces the way a thought rests in the mind when it has nowhere else to be. It does not rush to explain itself. It does not ask to be understood. You breathe in slowly and imagine the light arriving with your breath, not entering you, but settling near you, sharing the space. You breathe out, and the light remains, perfectly content to stay without being held. When you think of sunlight this way, it stops feeling like brightness and starts feeling like presence. A warmth that does not press. A glow that does not demand attention. Just a steady arrival from very far away, patient enough to travel such distance without ever feeling tired. The leaves above you do not react dramatically. They do not gasp or stretch or reach. They remain open, the way they already were, as if they expected this moment and planned nothing special for it. Their stillness feels intentional. Plants understand something you are slowly remembering. Energy does not need to be loud to be powerful. Movement does not need to be fast to be meaningful. Some of the most important arrivals happen quietly, and only become noticeable if you are already still. You let your breath slow again. Light drifts downward in soft fragments, broken gently by overlapping leaves. Each piece lands where it lands, unconcerned with symmetry or efficiency. Nothing is optimized. Everything is allowed. If light had a personality, it would be the friend who shows up early and waits without checking the time. It never complains. It never rushes you. It just stays warm and available, like it has nowhere else it would rather be. You notice how the leaves seem to receive the light rather than stop it. They do not block. They welcome. Their surfaces catch warmth the way skin does, recognizing it instantly, without thinking. Recognition does not require effort. This is how energy enters living systems. Not as force, but as invitation. You feel your shoulders soften again, even though they were already relaxed. Apparently there are layers to rest. Who knew? The leaves probably knew. They look very practiced. Sunlight hums. Not audibly, but gently. It is a vibration you sense more than hear, like the distant hum of a city far away, or the low sound of a refrigerator reminding you that something dependable is working quietly in the background. The world is powered by these small, continuous efforts. You imagine the sunlight as a long-held note, stretched across space, arriving here softened by distance. By the time it reaches the leaves, it is calm, civilized, ready to be useful. The leaves remain open windows, just as before, but now you sense their attention. They are not passive. They are receptive. There is a difference, and your body understands it instinctively. Inhale as the light arrives. Pause. Exhale as it settles. This rhythm feels familiar, like something you learned long before language. Perhaps you did. Every living thing shares this heritage of slow exchanges and quiet cooperation. Life prefers balance over urgency. Science often uses words like energy and transfer and absorption. But here, lying beneath the leaves, those words soften. Energy feels like warmth moving into shade. Transfer feels like sharing space. Absorption feels like listening closely. Nothing pushes. Nothing pulls. Everything drifts. The leaves do not hurry to respond. They wait until the light has fully arrived, until it has rested long enough to be trusted. That patience has been rewarded for millions of years. There is no reason to rush now. A small smile forms somewhere inside you, barely noticeable, as you realize how unnecessary most hurry really is. Even the sun takes its time, especially the sun. You shift slightly, not because you need to, but because comfort invites movement the way sleep invites dreams. The leaves adjust too, responding to air, to angle, to nothing in particular. Sunlight continues to arrive without sound, without expectation, without end. You sense that the leaves are doing more than simply resting in the light. They are preparing, listening more closely now. Something inside them is attentive, tuned carefully to this warmth. You do not see it yet. You do not need to. For now, it is enough to know that light has arrived, and that the leaves are ready, quietly poised, as if a deeper process is about to begin. One that waits just beyond the surface, just inside the green, where light will soon be welcomed even further in. You move closer to one leaf, letting your attention stretch as if it could dissolve into the air around it. There is no rush. There is no need. The leaf hovers above you, a green plane suspended delicately, shaped by wind and sun and years of quiet practice. You notice its thinness first. It seems almost unreal that something so fragile could do so much, and yet you know it does. You sense the power held in such gentle surfaces, and a calm admiration settles in your chest. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. The leaf does not simply sit there. It does not drift in indecision. It is a quiet window open to the sun. Not a window that lets light pass straight through, but a window that receives it. A window that listens. A window that knows how to catch warmth and use it. You begin to understand that the leaf is more than green. It is aware in a way that does not require thought, in a way that simply exists as listening. Sunlight spills softly onto the leaf surface. You imagine each photon arriving as a tiny note, part of a gentle, continuous lullaby. They do not hammer or push. They do not demand. They enter, landing delicately, acknowledged immediately by the green listener inside. This green is chlorophyll, though the word does not matter as much as the feeling of recognition it brings. Chlorophyll knows light the way your skin knows warmth on a cool morning, instinctive and effortless. You breathe in slowly as the light touches the leaf. You imagine your inhale drawing the same warmth down into your chest, soft and steady. The leaf takes what it needs, and you take a little too, not in the way of stealing, but in the way of sharing a deep, calm connection. Exhale. Let your body relax further. Let your attention soften, almost melting into the green beneath you. The surface of the leaf is alive with tiny, intricate structures that work quietly, efficiently. You do not see them, but you can sense their existence, as if you are aware of the room behind the window. The veins trace delicate paths, like the careful sketches of a patient artist, guiding everything where it needs to go without fanfare. The green listener inside receives sunlight and begins its subtle transformation. Nothing about it is hurried. There is no tension. There is only readiness. The air brushes against the leaf. Perhaps you imagine it, perhaps it is real, but the movement feels like conversation. The leaf shifts slightly, tiny adjustments that remind you life is flexible. Even when still, there is a quiet responsiveness to everything around it, light, warmth, air, and you. You smile softly, thinking that if leaves could chuckle, they might find you amusing. Lying there with your attention stretched to a single, thin sheet of green. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. The light is acknowledged inside the leaf, but it is not trapped. It begins to move gently through the green rooms within, absorbed not like a sponge soaking water, but like a note settling into silence. The chlorophyll captures the essence of the sunlight, not in rigid formulae, not in numbers, but as recognition. A feeling of ease spreads in your body, echoing the leaf's own calm. You realize that transformation does not always need drama. It often prefers softness. You notice the edges of the leaf. They are not perfectly straight. They have irregularities, little bumps, slight curves, tiny variations that suggest individuality. Each leaf is unique, each window tuned slightly differently, but all follow the same principle. Openness. Openness to warmth. Openness to life. Openness to light that does not demand anything in return. You inhale again, letting the rhythm of breath mirror the rhythm of sunlight absorption. In through your nose, feeling expansion in the chest. Pause, as the leaf pauses to accept the light. Out through your mouth, as the leaf settles the sunlight into gentle motion. Unseen, quiet, profound. You notice how the same breathing pattern happens in both of you, though one is conscious and the other is unconscious. You find comfort in this shared rhythm, as if the world itself is a slow, careful breath. A tiny wisp of humor floats through your awareness. If leaves could gossip, you imagine, they might laugh at how humans are always so eager to move, to measure, to control, while they simply listen and do exactly what they were made to do. You smile, imagining chlorophyll waving politely at the sun and humming its own quiet tune. Inside the leaf, the sunlight triggers a cascade that is invisible but perceptible in sensation. Energy moves through molecules with careful attention, transforming from presence into potential. This is the moment where photosynthesis truly begins, not a violent reaction, but a delicate unfolding. You imagine it as warmth spreading softly, like honey melting across a gentle curve. Each photon finds a home. Each pathway aligns in quiet coordination. Nothing is hurried. Nothing shouts. Everything whispers. You notice the tiny veins again, carrying not blood but sustenance, not rushing, not forcing, but facilitating a slow and steady flow. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. The same rhythm you are breathing, mirrored in the leaf, mirrored in life itself. You sense how energy circulates, how patience is a form of power, and how stillness can be as effective as movement. The green light inside the leaf seems to pulse softly, synchronizing with your own heartbeat, though more slowly, more evenly. It is a reminder that life does not need to be loud to be alive. Quietness is not emptiness. It is presence, depth, and attention. The leaf, your body, the sunlight, they exist together in this gentle moment. You allow your imagination to wander into the very tissue of the leaf. You see spaces filled with light, spaces that hum faintly with the energy they contain. You understand that these rooms are private but generous. They give, they transform, they share, but they never demand. You feel a sense of trust settle in your chest. This process has been unfolding for eons, always reliable, always calm, always waiting for attention, but never requiring it. You smile again at the thought that such a powerful process occurs without spectacle. You imagine leaves lining windowsills, sun streaming in, energy quietly forming, nourishing, sustaining, and no one ever needing to notice. It is comforting. You realize that so much of life is like this, quiet, steady, dependable, unfolding without applause. A final breath. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. You sense the leaf's readiness. Something inside has awakened, small and patient, and it will grow gradually, invisibly, as all things essential do. You do not need to see it yet. You only need to feel it. Only need to rest beneath the window, beneath the listening green. Only need to breathe in time with it. And as you do, you feel the gentle anticipation of what is coming next. The inner green listener is readying itself, poised to transform what it receives, preparing to pass warmth and energy deeper into the plant, beyond the surface you can touch. You sense a shift in quiet potential, a subtle invitation. Continue resting, continue noticing, and drift a little further into the life that surrounds you. Sunlight, leaves, and breath continue together, softly, patiently, gently. And you are part of this quiet orchestra, a witness and participant, breathing slowly, ready to move with the rhythm of the world. The leaf remains your window. The sun continues to sing. And beneath it all, a subtle promise hums. The next chapter is already forming, waiting for the moment when you are ready to notice the inner workings, the green listener within, more closely than ever before. You drift closer, letting your attention sink inside the leaf, as if your mind could dissolve through its surface. You imagine tiny rooms of green, softly lit by sunlight that has already arrived and begun its quiet work. The leaf feels alive, not in a sudden, startling way, but like a familiar song you almost forgot you knew. You are not intruding, you are welcomed. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. The inner spaces are full of gentle vibrations. Not sounds, exactly, but subtle waves of energy, like the hum of distant wind through a forest, or the faint vibration of earth itself. Light has entered these spaces, and chlorophyll, the green listener, leans in to receive it. This listener does not strain. It does not seek. It does not demand. It is attuned. It recognizes sunlight the way your skin recognizes warmth, instinctively and without effort. You sense the rhythm here, slow and consistent. It matches your own breathing when you let yourself follow it. In through your nose, soft and full. Pause. Out through your mouth, releasing tension that you didn't realize you were holding. Each breath feels like a quiet echo of the leaf's inner pulse, a small collaboration across species and space. Imagine chlorophyll not as pigment, but as a careful ear pressed to a lullaby. The song comes in waves, distant yet persistent, and the listener does not judge it. It accepts, it translates, it transforms. Energy shifts without drama, moving in delicate patterns through the green rooms. You do not see the molecules, but you sense their presence like feeling warmth from a sunbeam that has already crossed 1,000 miles. You notice how the leaf is neither empty nor crowded. There is room here for light, for water, for air, and for life itself. Spaces expand gently, folding inwards and outwards in a rhythm that is invisible yet perceptible, if only you slow enough to notice. You feel reassured. This is not chaotic, not random. It is perfectly arranged, quietly orchestrated, an old practice that has never needed applause. Inhale, pause, exhale. Breathing with the leaf, you begin to notice subtler motions. Veins, tiny corridors, conduct their careful work, guiding energy where it will be useful, though nothing hurries. Transformation is happening here, slow, deliberate, imperceptible in real time. The green listener has learned to pace itself, to respect the light that arrives, to process it without forcing. It is a patient musician, playing a song that has no final note, no abrupt ending, only continuous gentle unfolding. There is humor here if you look closely. The leaf has probably been doing this for millions of years, long before humans began counting and measuring, and it is still just a leaf. Imagine a teacher who has taught countless generations but never gives a lecture. You smile quietly, appreciating the subtle irony, and your lips press into a soft, almost inaudible grin. The air that slips through the tiny pores of the leaf is part of this conversation too. Carbon dioxide drifts in, unobtrusive and cooperative, mingling with sunlight and the green listener's readiness. Breath becomes both metaphor and reality. The leaf breathes, the air flows, you breathe in tandem. Nothing competes, everything participates gently. Inhale, pause, exhale. Inside the leaf, energy begins its subtle journey. Photons have arrived, and now electrons, excited and careful, respond to the invitation. You do not need formulas or graphs to understand this. Conceptually, it feels like warmth spreading through hidden corridors, like a whispered secret moving from one room to another, welcomed at each stop. Transformation is not frantic. It is precise, patient, reliable. The leaf does not rush the sun, and the sun does not hurry the leaf. The green listener is aware of more than light. It senses potential. It senses timing. It senses the readiness of molecules to accept, to store, to shift. The process is a choreography, invisible to the untrained eye, but undeniable when felt as presence. You feel that subtle acknowledgement as a deep sense of calm inside yourself. Your breath slows further, deepening the connection. You imagine being tiny enough to float through these inner spaces, drifting along veins, brushing past chlorophyll, witnessing transformation as a gentle dance. You feel the warmth, the quiet energy, the movement without urgency. It is reassuring, like stepping into a room that has been prepared just for you, silent, soft, and patient. The leaf listens as it always has. It listens without critique. It listens without expectation. And in listening, it prepares for the next phase, the next gift of transformation that will soon arrive. You do not see it yet. You only sense the anticipation, the subtle shift in readiness. Inhale, pause, exhale. The process you observe inside the leaf mirrors life itself in small ways. Not all change needs to be loud. Not all growth requires struggle. Sometimes, the quiet attention of the green listener, the patient acceptance of sunlight, the gentle exchange of air, is enough. Everything unfolds in order, precisely because nothing forces the sequence. A small smile curves in your mind again, as if to remind you that humor exists even in cells. Perhaps chlorophyll thinks it amusing that humans are always so eager to see progress, to measure, to grasp. Meanwhile, it simply listens and transforms, and everything continues just fine. You join the smile, almost imperceptibly, in sync with the rhythm of life. You feel the edges of the leaf surrounding you, protecting and framing these inner spaces, the quiet green rooms glowing softly. They are not windows to another place. They are windows inward, inviting attention and care. You do not need to understand all that happens here to feel the presence of transformation. Awareness itself is nourishing. Inhale, pause, exhale. The sun's lullaby continues, each photon a note, each chlorophyll a listener. Energy shifts from light to warmth to potential, flowing as gently as a stream that has learned patience. You feel the sensation of it through your body, a slow resonance that encourages trust, confidence, and deep calm. You sense the continuity, a process that has been unfolding for eons, quiet and dependable, even without witnesses. You rest beneath this inner symphony. Your chest rises and falls. Your attention drifts like the sunbeams across the leaf's surface. You know, instinctively, that light alone is not sufficient for this quiet orchestra to continue. Something else will join soon. Something essential, though subtle: water, moving patiently upward, carrying potential like a slow memory along hidden paths. The leaf hums, not with sound, but with readiness. You feel it mirrored in your own pulse. Transformation waits, poised and gentle. Nothing is rushed. Everything is coordinated. And you, lying here beneath listening leaves, are part of this rhythm simply by noticing, simply by breathing. Inhale, pause, exhale. The green listener within is awake. It recognizes sunlight, it accepts air, it prepares for movement yet to come. And you feel yourself leaning closer, not in urgency, but in gentle curiosity, ready to follow the quiet, steady unfolding that will soon include water, flowing upward, joining the conversation of light and green. The inner rooms of the leaf glow softly with green anticipation. The lullaby continues without interruption, and you allow yourself to drift alongside it, patient, steady, connected. Your next breath carries you toward the subtle shift awaiting in the leaf, the next chapter of quiet transformation that is already unfolding beneath your awareness. You rest beneath the listening leaves, letting the warmth of sunlight settle over your skin, and gradually your attention drifts downward, toward the roots of the plant beneath you. You imagine the soil as a soft, cool memory, holding water patiently, waiting for the right moment to send it upward. Water has no hurry. It has no concern beyond the path it is meant to follow. And you realize that patience can feel like motion, even when everything moves gently. Inhale, pause, exhale. The water begins its slow journey, not like a rushing river, not like a startled stream, but more like a thought rising from the depths of memory, deliberate and aware. You imagine it slipping through tiny channels in the roots, carrying quiet nourishment along with it, whispering to each part of the plant as it passes. The veins of the stem open slightly to receive it, welcoming it, guiding it onward. Imagine each droplet as a note of calm, a soft rhythm traveling from roots to leaves. The plant is like a quiet orchestra, and water is the conductor of subtle cues. It moves without pressure, yet everything responds. The stem, the branches, the leaves, all participate in this patient exchange. There is no strain, only cooperation. The flow is perfectly natural. You breathe in, imagining the water's upward movement rising through your own chest, your lungs filling with the same gentle intention. Pause, feeling the warmth of sunlight merge with the cool memory of water. Exhale slowly, releasing tension you may not have noticed. Your body mirrors the rhythm of the plant. Steady, unhurried, aware. The veins of the plant are intricate, winding paths that carry life invisibly. You picture them as delicate corridors, almost like tiny tunnels in a cathedral, where every droplet is attended, guided, and appreciated. Each movement is intentional yet effortless. There is humor in this subtle perfection. Water has been climbing this path for millions of years, long before humans ever noticed, and it never needs applause. You smile quietly at this thought. Inhale, pause, exhale. As the water rises, it carries more than just moisture. It carries potential, quiet energy, the promise of transformation. Each droplet reminds the leaf that sunlight has arrived, that chlorophyll is ready to listen, and that together, a gentle symphony of life is unfolding. You notice how everything in the plant works in harmony, not with urgency, but with precise, slow coordination. The leaf, the stem, the roots, even the tiny air spaces, they are all participants in this patient, ongoing process. You sense the coolness of water, contrasting with the warm sunlight. Together, warmth and moisture create balance. Your awareness of both is grounding. You feel your body soften again, letting the sensations fill you without judgment. Your spine lengthens slightly, your shoulders release more tension, and your mind begins to drift along the water's path. The movement is smooth. The rise is steady. The water seems to remember the path it has traveled countless times before, like a river that knows every curve, every bend, every hidden hollow. It does not force itself, it does not argue with gravity. It simply remembers, and in that memory you find reassurance. Life does not always need urgency. There is wisdom in patient repetition. Inhale, pause, exhale. Tiny hairs at the roots embrace the soil, drawing water into the plant with gentle curiosity. The roots do not strain, but neither do they ignore. They cooperate silently, making sure the flow is steady and reliable. You imagine the soil and the roots exchanging whispers, a secret dialogue about timing and necessity. Water moves because the plant invites it, and the plant invites it because the water is ready. There is a quiet trust here, ancient and unwavering. You feel your own breath synchronize with this rise. Each inhale mirrors the upward movement. Each pause honors the journey, and each exhale releases tension and allows life to flow. You are not rushing. You are not grasping. You are present, drifting with the same gentle rhythm that has guided water to the leaves for eons. The sunlight waiting above, the green listener within the leaf, and the water rising from the roots are already conversing, though you can only perceive hints. Light has been absorbed and acknowledged, and now water carries the quiet potential to nourish, to connect, to complete the first steps of transformation. You sense the coordination, and a warm reassurance settles deep in your chest. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. A small wisp of humor surfaces in your mind. If water could gossip, it might giggle at how humans imagine life must be frantic to be alive. Meanwhile, it climbs the plant with perfect patience. No fanfare, no hurry, no applause needed. You smile softly, imagining a tiny droplet bowing politely to a leaf vein. Inhale, pause, exhale. As the water ascends, it supports the leaves, reminding them that sunlight has arrived, and that the green listener is ready to receive. The plant's veins open like doors along a corridor, each droplet entering at its own pace, moving higher with quiet purpose. You sense that this movement is essential, not only for nourishment but for communication. Water carries subtle signals of readiness, of cooperation, of life unfolding in its most patient form. You notice the connection between moisture, sunlight, and air. Though the air has not yet joined fully, you sense its future arrival. Water is setting the stage, preparing the plant's inner rooms for the next breath, the next exchange, the next note in this ongoing lullaby of life. You feel a deep trust in this process. It has been occurring far longer than you have existed, and it will continue steady and dependable. Inhale, pause, exhale. The veins, the droplets, the green listener, the sunlight, they form a network of slow energy and attentive response. You feel a faint warmth in your hands and chest as you imagine following a single droplet's path upward. It does not rush, it does not collide. It drifts purposefully, guided by memory and intention, carrying with it calm potential, like a note rising to complete a melody already in progress. You sense your own body as part of this gentle rhythm. Your spine stretches in alignment with the flow. Your arms rest softly against the earth. Your heartbeats echo the quiet pulse of the plant. Water and light, warmth and coolness, attention and response. They intertwine in a silent, unbroken dance. You are invited, simply by noticing, into participation with this ancient pattern. Inhale, pause, exhale. The droplets rise higher, reaching toward the leaves you rested beneath just moments ago. They carry with them life, energy, and a patient promise that what has been absorbed below will meet the sunlight above, and together, they will create the nourishment the plant needs. You do not need to see the chemical reactions. You only need to feel the rhythm, the slow memory of water climbing, of energy transforming, of life unfolding without urgency. A final deep breath. Inhale, pause, exhale. You rest in the knowledge that this is only the beginning of a larger story. Water has arrived, patiently, reliably, quietly. Air will soon join, adding its voice to the lullaby. The green listener is poised. Sunlight waits. And you, lying here beneath listening leaves, are ready to drift along, carried gently by the ongoing rhythm of life. The leaf shimmers faintly with absorbed light. The water rises, whispering along its veins. And somewhere deep within, the plant prepares for the next phase. A subtle, patient collaboration with the air, the carbon dioxide that will soon join the quiet conversation. You inhale once more, feeling anticipation, but not urgency, and allow yourself to drift, carried on the slow memory of water rising toward sunlight, toward life, toward quiet transformation. You lie quietly beneath the leaves, letting your awareness drift upward from the roots, following the slow rise of water. You feel sunlight settled on the green listener above, warmth soft against your skin. And now, gently, your attention turns to the air around you, the invisible companion you have always shared, the breath that flows quietly in and out, carrying with it something essential. Inhale, pause, exhale. You realize slowly that the plant is breathing too. Not the same way you are, but a rhythm that mirrors yours in intention, in necessity. Carbon dioxide drifts in through tiny pores, unnoticed, unhurried, like a whisper traveling down a long corridor. Oxygen, equally quiet, drifts out in response, completing a dialogue that has existed for millions of years, before humans even noticed. And somehow, without words or instruments, you feel the presence of this exchange as a gentle pulse around you. Your breath slows as you match it with the rhythm of this shared moment. In through your nose, soft and steady, imagining the air entering the leaf as you inhale. Pause, feeling the plant's quiet readiness. Exhale slowly, releasing what you no longer need, offering it gently to the green listener above. You notice that this interaction is not one-sided. It is a conversation, mutual and calming, like a lullaby sung softly between two old friends. The sunlight continues to shine, resting on the leaf as it always has, unnoticed by most but never hurried. Water has risen, patient and persistent, carrying the quiet memory of its path. And now air participates, weaving its own part of the story, its own contribution to the ongoing lullaby. You sense that every element is necessary, but nothing is rushed. Everything is balanced in a rhythm that invites observation, not interference. Imagine carbon dioxide not as a scientific term, but as a gift, a soft offering carried on your breath. It drifts into the leaf, mingling with the green listener inside, merging with water and sunlight. Transformation begins quietly here, unnoticed by anyone but you, perceptible only to attention slow enough to catch it. You feel a sense of belonging, knowing that this cycle has existed long before you arrived and will continue long after you leave. Inhale, pause, exhale. Your chest rises gently, and you feel an almost imperceptible connection with the leaves above, the veins, the chlorophyll, the sunlight that has arrived. You are part of a network that spans roots, stems, leaves, and air. Your breath echoes the plant's process, Your exhale offering carbon dioxide, your inhale receiving oxygen, your body merging momentarily with the rhythm of life surrounding you. You imagine the green listener inside the leaf leaning in, attentive and patient. It recognizes your breath the same way it recognizes sunlight. There is no judgment, no demand. It simply acknowledges, processes, and responds, like a musician following the faint cues of another player in a gentle duet. You notice warmth spreading in your chest as you appreciate this invisible collaboration, feeling gratitude without effort, without expectation. Breath, light, water, each has its role. Each participates in a quiet, continuous dialogue. You are learning, slowly, that life does not always need noise or spectacle to function. Sometimes the most important exchanges are silent, subtle, almost imperceptible, yet undeniably present. You let yourself rest in this understanding, inhaling slowly, exhaling fully, and feeling a deep sense of calm settle within. Inhale, pause, exhale. A tiny smile forms on your lips, almost unnoticed. You imagine the plant might find your fascination amusing, watching you rest there, aware of its breathing, its patient energy. And perhaps it would. After all, it has been performing this careful exchange for eons without notice, without expectation, and yet everything functions perfectly. Humor exists in quiet, too, if you look closely enough. You imagine air, water, and light as participants in a slow, careful orchestra. Sunlight sings softly, droplets rise like gentle notes, and carbon dioxide moves in time with the quiet pulse of life. Chlorophyll listens attentively, orchestrating the transformations that will become nourishment. Your awareness is now part of this lullaby, a witness, a participant, a gentle note itself. Inhale, pause, exhale. The leaf's inner rooms glow with green light, now subtly enhanced by the arrival of the air. Carbon dioxide merges with water, interacting with the chlorophyll that listens so patiently, and together they produce something nourishing, something that will sustain the plant and all those who depend on it. You do not see the molecules, but you feel the effect, a slow warmth spreading, a sense of completeness building quietly within the green listener. You imagine each breath you take as a contribution to this gentle cycle. Your presence is not required, yet it is acknowledged, welcomed. The plant does not hurry your participation, nor does it need it to function. Still, by being aware, by noticing, by breathing in tandem, you are gently co-creating a shared rhythm of life. You feel a sense of humility and comfort, knowing that something so vital can occur quietly, reliably, without demand or pressure. Inhale, pause, exhale. The sunlight above continues its lullaby, resting gently on the leaves, reaching deep into the green listener. Water rises patiently, carrying the quiet memory of its journey. Air drifts in, carrying carbon dioxide like a soft gift, while oxygen drifts out, completing a dialogue older than you can imagine. Everything interacts in a balance so subtle that it almost feels like magic, though it is only life, in its most patient, unhurried form. You notice how the plant is never in a hurry. Chlorophyll, water, air, sunlight, all proceed at their own pace, harmonizing naturally. You breathe in rhythm with this pace, slow and steady, feeling trust settle like warmth in your chest. The lullaby continues, unnoticed by most, yet profound for those who pause long enough to notice. A small, humorous thought drifts through your awareness. Humans are always trying to control, to measure, to manage, while the leaves simply exist and accomplish everything they need to. You smile quietly, appreciating the contrast. You relax further, letting this insight become part of your calm, slow rhythm. Inhale, pause, exhale. You sense the sugar forming slowly inside the leaf, the quiet result of sunlight, water, and air collaborating in perfect harmony. Nourishment is created gently, without effort, without rush. You are reassured that this has been occurring perfectly for millions of years. You inhale, feeling warmth and gratitude spread across your body. Exhale, releasing tension, offering carbon dioxide back to the leaf in a quiet, reciprocal gesture. The green listener within is fully engaged now. Sunlight continues to shine, water continues to rise, and air continues to exchange. The cycle is continuous, rhythmic, and patient. You are part of this process if only as a witness, and being a witness is enough. You do not need to intervene. You do not need to hurry. You only need to breathe and notice, slowly, deliberately, attentively. Inhale, pause, exhale. The plant's quiet collaboration extends beyond itself. Its nourishment will travel through stems, reach roots, feed growth points, and eventually touch life outside its own form. You sense softly that you too are connected to this process. Every breath, every gentle moment of observation, contributes to the quiet, patient, dependable rhythm of life. You rest in the knowledge that this process will continue whether you are watching or not. Sunlight, water, and air move together, orchestrated by chlorophyll, in a calm, precise, unhurried dance. The plant has no need to hurry, and neither do you. Inhale, pause, exhale. A final, soft realization settles over you. Life is patient, collaborative, and quietly abundant. Photosynthesis continues, breath is shared, nourishment is forming, and all of this happens without urgency, without pressure, without expectation. The lullaby flows on, uninterrupted. The green listener within the leaf hums faintly with energy, ready to transform what it receives. Water continues to rise. Sunlight continues to arrive. Air continues to exchange. And you, lying here beneath the listening leaves, are part of the gentle rhythm, aligned with patience, with care, with quiet participation. Inhale, pause, exhale. And somewhere in this calm, subtle dance, you sense the promise of what is to come. Nourishment has begun. It will travel. It will feed. It will sustain. The leaf has received its gifts. The plant has processed them. And life moves forward, patient, reliable, gentle, and ever-continuing. You rest with this knowledge, your chest rising and falling in time with the world, breathing in a shared rhythm, quietly present, deeply calm, ready for the next chapter of light, water, and life unfolding. You lie beneath the listening leaves, letting your attention drift deeper into the quiet spaces within. Sunlight has arrived. Water has risen. Air participates with gentle intention. And now, in the soft green rooms of the leaf, a new process begins. Sugar forms like quiet warmth, slow and patient, gentle and deliberate. Inhale, pause, exhale. You imagine the tiny green listener, chlorophyll, attending carefully as the components of life converge. Light has entered, acknowledged, and settled into the soft, green rooms. Water has arrived, carrying its cool memory, its quiet potential. Air has exchanged its carbon dioxide, flowing in with trust, leaving behind oxygen as a calm response. And together, these three, light, water, and air, cooperate silently, gracefully, like dancers moving in perfect rhythm, without rushing, without showiness. Sugar begins to form inside the leaf. Not abruptly, not loudly, not in numbers or equations, but as warmth slowly crystallizing into substance. You imagine this sugar as a soft, golden glow spreading gradually through the green rooms, each molecule a tiny note in a silent lullaby. The green listener receives it all, processing and holding it gently, aware of its purpose and potential. You breathe in, letting your chest rise slowly with the rhythm of this formation. Pause. Exhale, releasing tension, allowing your awareness to merge with the calm, steady process unfolding above. Each breath mirrors the quiet accumulation of energy, the patient transformation of light, water, and air into nourishment. You feel your body soften, warm, and expand as though it too is absorbing a fraction of this quiet magic. Inhale, pause, exhale. The warmth of sugar forming spreads subtly, not as heat you can touch, but as a sense of completeness, of life settling into its intended form. The leaf has waited for this moment, prepared its inner rooms with patience, and now the energy has been transformed into a form that will sustain growth, support life, and continue the quiet cycle of photosynthesis. You feel the process resonate within you, the calm rhythm aligning with your own breathing. There is humor here, small and hidden. You imagine the leaf thinking that humans would be so concerned about productivity, about speed, about results, when all it takes is patience, cooperation, and quiet attention. The sugar forms because the leaf knows how, not because it hurries or forces. You smile quietly, feeling a warm kinship with this gentle, unassuming teacher. Inhale, pause, exhale. You imagine following the sugar as it forms, a tiny golden thread winding slowly through the leaf's veins. It does not rush. It does not push. It glides along pathways shaped over millennia, guided by invisible corridors, welcomed at each stop, acknowledged by each part of the green listener's inner rooms. Each moment is deliberate. Each step is effortless. Transformation is happening without urgency, without pressure, without spectacle. You feel the subtle interconnection of light, water, and air as they continue their patient collaboration. Sunlight has been absorbed and acknowledged. Water has risen like a slow memory. Air has exchanged quietly. And now, sugar, the gentle product of these interactions, forms and spreads, a tangible expression of the invisible, patient work that has preceded it. You sense that this quiet warmth is essential, not only to the plant, but to the life it will touch beyond its leaves. Inhale, pause, exhale. The green rooms within the leaf glow softly with potential. Sugar forms gradually, molecule by molecule, each one a note in the leaf's ongoing lullaby. You sense the movement of energy transforming into substance, warmth crystallizing into nourishment, and a deep sense of calm settles within you. It is a process older than you, larger than you, yet intimately accessible if you allow yourself to notice, to breathe, to be present. You imagine the veins of the leaf gently carrying the sugar, guiding it along without haste, without struggle, without noise. Each path is precise, patient, intentional, yet effortless. You sense the connection between the rising water, the settled sunlight, and the forming sugar. It is a reminder that life works best when attention, intention, and patience align. You feel the rhythm echo softly in your own chest, aligning your heartbeat with the patient pulse of the leaf. Inhale, pause, exhale. The sugar is warmth made tangible, a silent creation, a gentle offering stored within the leaf. You imagine it spreading like a slow tide, flowing through hidden corridors, reaching every part of the green listener's inner rooms. You feel gratitude for this quiet labor, for the way the leaf and its components create life without demand, without expectation, without urgency. Everything unfolds exactly as it should. A small, private laugh arises in your mind. If humans could learn to move as patiently as sugar forms inside a leaf, what chaos might be avoided? You smile quietly, imagining your own mind slowing, softening, settling into the rhythm already established around you. The leaf, the sunlight, the water, the air, and now the sugar, they all collaborate with ease. You are part of the calm by noticing, by breathing, by being. Inhale, pause, exhale. You imagine the sugar drifting toward the veins, ready to travel beyond the leaf, carrying with it the quiet energy of sunlight, the memory of water's journey, and the cooperation of air. The movement is gentle, measured, patient. You feel your own body respond, chest rising and falling in alignment with the rhythm of this slow, dependable work. The warmth spreads deeper, through your shoulders, your arms, your back, as if the leaf's calm has seeped into you. The green listener within the leaf continues its attentive work, monitoring each molecule, ensuring every sugar unit forms correctly, guiding it along safe corridors toward the stem and beyond. You imagine this as a soft glow spreading from leaf to stem, from branch to trunk, reaching outward quietly, reliably, patiently. There is no need for hurry. The process unfolds perfectly on its own terms. Inhale, pause, exhale. You sense a deep connection. The leaf, the plant, the sunlight, the water, the air, the forming sugar, and your own presence are all part of an ongoing quiet cycle. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is hurried. Everything cooperates with the same calm intention. You feel your body relax into this awareness, shoulders melting, jaw softening, chest expanding, mind slowing. The sugar is now fully forming, its warmth tangible in your imagination, your awareness, your body. The leaf holds it gently, patiently, knowing it will nourish roots, stems, growth points, and all who depend upon the plant. You feel the calm satisfaction that comes with witnessing a process unfold naturally, without effort, without interference, without urgency. Inhale, pause, exhale. A final thought drifts in, soft as a lullaby. This sugar, this quiet warmth, will travel beyond the leaf. It will feed the plant, the soil, perhaps even creatures that rest nearby. Life has a gentle way of sharing, of giving, of sustaining, quietly, persistently, patiently. You feel your own heart swell with this awareness, breathing in time with the patient, quiet rhythm of the plant. The green listener within rests, knowing its work is ongoing, steady, dependable. Sunlight, water, air, and now sugar continue their gentle, patient collaboration. You, beneath the listening leaves, are part of the lullaby. You inhale slowly, pause, and exhale, letting yourself drift with the rhythm of life, trusting the quiet warmth that has formed, knowing that it will continue to move outward, carrying nourishment, carrying calm, carrying gentle life forward. You lie beneath the listening leaves, the warmth of sunlight settled softly across your skin, the cool memory of water rising through the veins beneath you. Sugar has formed, quiet and patient, a warm glow within the leaf's inner rooms. And now, slowly, it begins its journey outward, a silent traveler carrying the story of sunlight, water, and air, moving through the plant with the same patient rhythm that created it. Inhale, pause, exhale. The sugar drifts from the leaf into the veins, following gentle corridors, guided by channels shaped over eons. It does not rush. It does not force its passage. It flows as naturally as thought, as memory, as warmth spreading through your body. You imagine each molecule as a small spark, alive yet calm, carrying the essence of sunlight stored within, holding it carefully for the plant to use whenever needed. You breathe in slowly, imagining your chest filling with the same steady warmth, a shared rhythm between yourself and the leaf. Pause, feeling the sugar's quiet journey as a gentle pulse in your awareness. Exhale, releasing tension, letting your attention drift deeper into the plant's interior, following the subtle currents, the hidden pathways of nourishment, patient, persistent, dependable. Inhale, pause, exhale. The veins of the stem carry sugar downward and outward, offering sustenance to every branch, every root, every growth point along the way. Sunlight, once distant and bright, now rests quietly inside matter, stored like a song held in memory, waiting for the right moment to awaken life. You imagine the plant as a library of light, each sugar molecule a page in a volume that unfolds slowly, carefully, without urgency. The green listener within the leaf watches this journey with patient attention, no longer receiving sunlight, but observing its gift moving steadily onward. You sense a calm satisfaction in the leaf, a quiet pride in its work, and you smile softly at the thought. The plant does not need recognition. It does not seek applause. It simply performs reliably, patiently, endlessly. Inhale, pause, exhale. You notice how the sugar nourishes the plant's growth points first. Tiny cells ready to expand, ready to reach outward, ready to hold new leaves, flowers, or branches. The stored light becomes potential realized slowly, gently. Each vein that carries sugar is a corridor of trust, guiding nourishment without struggle, without pressure, without haste. And you feel a gentle warmth echoing inside yourself, a resonance with the slow, reliable rhythm of life. A small thought drifts humorously through your mind. Sugar, carrying sunlight, traveling unseen, probably finds it amusing that humans insist on speed and productivity. Meanwhile, it follows a path perfected over millions of years, quietly, unhurried, fulfilling its purpose without needing to announce it. You smile quietly, appreciating the contrast, feeling your body soften further, chest rising and falling in time with the patient pulse of the plant. Inhale, pause, exhale. The roots beneath you receive their share, sugar drifting down into hidden chambers, sustaining cells that anchor the plant, holding it steady, reminding it that nourishment is not only for outward growth but for stability, for persistence, for resilience. You imagine each root cell glowing softly, aware of the gift traveling down to it, transforming stored light into quiet energy, into steady support, into patient strength. You sense the quiet communication within the plant. The leaves send their sugar, the stem guides it, the roots accept it. There is no urgency, no force, no competition, only cooperation. You breathe in harmony with this flow, inhaling as sugar moves forward, pausing as it is received, exhaling as it settles into place. Your awareness feels like an extension of the plant itself, a witness and participant, aligned with the rhythm of life unfolding. Inhale, pause, exhale. The stored sunlight continues its journey, reaching areas of the plant that may not receive direct sunlight. Branches shaded by older leaves, stems tucked into quiet corners, roots hidden in cool soil, all are nourished by this patient distribution. You feel reassurance in this. Life is thoughtful, organized, and enduring. Growth does not need to be loud or urgent. Slow, steady, consistent care is enough to sustain everything. You imagine sugar as warmth drifting like sunlight caught in amber, moving through the veins, spreading patiently, connecting every part of the plant. Each cell receives its share, transforming it gently into energy, into life, into quiet potential realized. You notice your own breath echoing this rhythm, slow and deep, steady, synchronized with the patient flow. Inhale, pause, exhale. The leaf above continues to receive new sunlight, but the sugar that has formed now moves outward, not for the leaf itself, but for the wider plant. You imagine the leaf as a small, generous musician, having played its note, now sending its melody across the branches, through the veins, into the roots. Sunlight, once distant, has been transformed into something tangible, portable, a gift to the rest of the organism. Humor returns softly in your mind. Perhaps sunlight itself would find it amusing to be captured, carried, and shared in this deliberate, unhurried way. Yet it does so without complaint, without question, without expectation. It simply contributes, and life continues. You smile quietly, allowing your body to relax further, feeling warmth and ease settle through your limbs. Inhale, pause, exhale. You sense the continuity beyond the plant itself. Sugar formed from sunlight will nourish flowers, seeds, roots, and perhaps even insects or other creatures that consume parts of the plant. Life is connected even when unseen. The lullaby you have been listening to extends outward. Light transformed into sugar, traveling, nourishing, sustaining, connecting worlds. You breathe in the awareness of this network, your chest rising slowly, exhaling fully, feeling a quiet sense of gratitude and belonging. The green listener inside the leaf watches its gift move steadily outward, no longer needing attention, no longer needing guidance. Everything is functioning exactly as it should. The stored sunlight is now alive in another form, quiet, patient, reliable. You feel your body echo this trust, your heartbeat softening, your mind settling, your awareness embracing the slow, ongoing rhythm of life. Inhale, pause, exhale. The plant, a vessel of patience, continues to distribute its nourishment, ensuring that every corner, every hidden chamber, every new growth point receives its share. The process is subtle, almost imperceptible, yet undeniably vital. You realize that life's quietest work is often the most essential, occurring without spectacle, without urgency, without pressure. And you feel a profound calm, knowing that slow, steady effort sustains the world, even when no one notices. The sugar continues to travel, carrying warmth, carrying light, carrying the gentle memory of sunlight, water, and air converging. Every vein, every branch, every root participates willingly, a chorus of quiet collaboration. You sense the depth of this cooperation, the elegance of its design, and allow yourself to rest in alignment with it, breathing in rhythm with the patient pulse of life around and within you. Inhale, pause, exhale. The plant has now stored sunlight in multiple forms, energy waiting patiently to support growth and life. You imagine it like a lullaby folded into pages, a song held gently until needed. You sense that this storage, this patience, is not just for the plant itself, but for the wider world it touches. The sugar will nourish leaves, roots, flowers, and perhaps even creatures beyond its own form. It is life quietly sustaining life. Inhale, pause, exhale. You rest beneath the leaves, feeling warmth, observing the silent flow of sugar, imagining sunlight captured, carried, shared. Everything moves with perfect patience, perfect reliability. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is hurried. Everything exists to support life gently, attentively, quietly. And you, lying here in the shade, breathing slowly, aligned with the plant's rhythm, are part of this gentle, ongoing symphony. The green listener within the leaf has completed its contribution. Sunlight has been transformed into sugar, distributed patiently, stored for later use. You sense the calm satisfaction of this process, the reassurance that life continues steadily, predictably, beautifully. You inhale, exhale, and feel your own awareness as part of this ongoing, patient rhythm. And somewhere within this quiet orchestra, a soft promise hums. This stored sunlight, this patient sugar, will continue to nourish, to support, to sustain life beyond the leaf, beyond the plant, even beyond your own awareness. You rest with this knowledge, body and mind softened, breathing aligned with the gentle pulse of life, ready to drift into the next chapter, carried by the calm certainty of slow, dependable growth. You rest beneath the listening leaves, the warmth of sunlight settled softly across your skin, the slow rise of water remembered through your awareness. Sugar has formed. Stored sunlight moves quietly through the plant. And now, as you inhale deeply, you begin to notice a greater rhythm, a pulse beyond the leaf, beyond the branch, beyond the plant itself. The cycle of life, moving gently, patiently, steadily, all powered by the quiet work of sunlight and leaves. Inhale, pause, exhale. You realize slowly that every bite of food you have ever eaten, every moment of warmth and motion you have felt, traces back to this patient exchange, this careful listening to sunlight by leaves. The energy stored as sugar in veins and roots travels outward, feeding growth, supporting life, connecting worlds in ways too subtle to see, yet undeniable if you pause long enough to notice. You imagine a single leaf, its green listener attuned to sunlight, performing its quiet work for no one, yet eventually sustaining creatures far beyond itself. The sugar it forms drifts through the plant, supporting stems, roots, and fruits. Those fruits feed animals. Those animals live, move, and grow. And in the gentle flow of time, even you, resting here, are touched by the energy of that distant sunlight, caught long ago in leaves, now traveling silently, invisibly, into life. Inhale, pause, exhale. You sense the connection between all living things, the shared rhythm of borrowed light. Life does not hoard. It passes along its gifts, patiently, generously, without haste or demand. You are part of this rhythm, inhaling the same air that plants have exchanged, exhaling carbon dioxide that may be drawn into leaves elsewhere, continuing the conversation of breath and light, endlessly patient, endlessly giving. The warmth of this realization spreads slowly through your chest, soft as golden sunlight filtering through leaves. You feel gratitude that does not need expression, awe that does not need grandeur. The entire web of life hums quietly beneath and around you, gentle, steady, interconnected. You are breathing in harmony with it, inhaling presence, exhaling trust, noticing the hidden flow that sustains everything. Inhale, pause, exhale. You imagine the green listener inside each leaf, its patient attention capturing light, transforming it into warmth and sugar, sending it onward. It has no awareness of the worlds it will sustain. It does not strive to feed, to influence, to control. And yet, over countless cycles, it nourishes all life that follows. You sense the humor in this quiet generosity, a wink from nature. Great power often works invisibly, silently, without recognition. You smile softly, feeling your body align with this patient rhythm. The sugar travels through the veins, reaching every corner of the plant. Roots absorb it, feeding stability. Branches carry it outward, supporting new leaves, flowers, and future growth. Fruits hold it, waiting for creatures to arrive, to take it gently, unknowingly participating in the plant's patient work. And every step of this journey is slow, deliberate, unhurried, a lullaby of light that persists whether you notice it or not. Inhale, pause, exhale. You think of your own body, sustained by food and warmth ultimately born of sunlight captured in leaves far away. Each meal, each breath, each sensation of energy is a thread in this quiet tapestry. You do not depend so much as you participate, unknowingly carrying forward the patient cycle of life that began with sunlight touching leaves. Your awareness of this is a gentle recognition, a soft gratitude that does not demand action. It is enough to simply notice, to inhale, to exhale, to be present. Inhale, pause, exhale. The network of life extends beyond the plant, beyond your own body. Creatures eat plants. Other creatures eat those creatures. Energy, warmth, and matter pass along quietly, generously, like a soft echo of sunlight. You rest in the understanding that your own warmth, your own life, flows from this ancient, patient process. The green listener in the leaf remains humble, unhurried, focused on its own small work, and yet it touches countless lives. You imagine every breath as a contribution and a receipt, a note in a never-ending song. Carbon dioxide leaves your lungs and travels invisibly into the green listener elsewhere. Oxygen enters, sustaining creatures who are themselves part of the same rhythm. You are part of the quiet exchange. You are not separate. You are aligned with the patient pulse of life, breathing in synchrony with sunlight, water, air, sugar, and growth. Inhale, pause, exhale. A tiny smile drifts across your mind. Humans often overlook the invisible work that sustains them, rushing through life, seeking what is obvious. Meanwhile, the leaves, the green listeners, the patient sugar, continue their work silently, gently, reliably. You feel yourself relax into the thought, chest softening, shoulders melting, awareness widening. You are both observer and participant in this ongoing, gentle rhythm. The warmth of borrowed light spreads through your awareness. You feel your body alive with gratitude, not the kind that tugs or demands, but the quiet, soft warmth of noticing. Life is patient, generous, and enduring. You rest in this knowledge, inhaling slowly, exhaling fully, letting the rhythm of light and leaves fill your chest, your limbs, your mind. Inhale, pause, exhale. You sense that the sugar, the stored sunlight, and the warmth it carries will continue its journey, feeding new growth, supporting stability, nourishing life you cannot see. The network extends further than you can perceive, yet you are connected simply by noticing, simply by breathing, simply by being present. Each inhalation and exhalation places you in gentle harmony with this ongoing, patient exchange. The green listener in the leaf continues quietly, its work complete for now, yet ever ready. Sunlight, water, and air have contributed. Sugar carries warmth and energy to all corners of the plant and beyond. And you, lying here beneath the leaves, sense the rhythm, sense the connection, feel your own participation in the cycle of life. Inhale, pause, exhale. A final awareness settles softly over you. You live on borrowed light. Every warmth in your body, every motion, every moment of life, traces back to leaves listening to sunlight, water rising patiently, and air exchanging quietly. You are alive because of patient, gentle collaboration that extends far beyond yourself, beyond your awareness, beyond your immediate surroundings. And knowing this, your breath slows, your chest softens, and a quiet awe settles in the center of your being. You imagine the leaves above, still open, still listening, their green hearts patient and attentive. The sunlight continues to arrive. Water rises patiently. Air exchanges gently. Sugar travels steadily. The lullaby of life continues, whether you observe it or not, yet your awareness now aligns with its quiet rhythm. You rest in this understanding, fully present, fully calm, fully part of the gentle, enduring pulse of life. Inhale, pause, exhale. And somewhere, in this quiet exchange, you feel reassurance. Everything sustains itself patiently, everything contributes without hurry, everything flows without demand. You, lying beneath listening leaves, inhale slowly, pause and exhale, resting in the knowledge that borrowed light carries you, that patient cycles of life sustain the world, and that all is quiet, steady, gentle, and perfectly aligned. You carry this understanding lightly, chest warm, limbs soft, awareness aligned, ready to drift into rest, ready to follow the lullaby into the next moment, the next chapter of calm, gentle life unfolding. You lie beneath the listening leaves, your chest rising and falling in quiet rhythm with the world around you. The warmth of sunlight rests softly across your skin. Water has traveled patiently, sugar has formed and moved through the plant, and now you sense a profound, gentle truth. The lullaby of life continues, whether you notice it or not. Inhale, pause, exhale. Leaves above remain open like patient windows, their green listeners still attentive, still receiving sunlight, still exchanging air with the world. You do not need to watch. You do not need to measure. You do not need to intervene. Everything proceeds quietly, reliably, gently. Life has its own rhythm, perfectly aligned, whether observed or not. You imagine sunlight arriving on a leaf, a golden hand settling gently, touching chlorophyll, stirring water and air into the calm process of transformation. Sugar forms, warmth accumulates, nourishment travels downward and outward. Every step of this cycle unfolds with quiet intention, and yet it requires nothing from you. Your awareness is enough to notice, enough to rest, enough to align your own breathing with the patient pulse of life. Inhale, pause, exhale. The green listener inside the leaf does not hurry. It does not pause for recognition or reward. It continues its quiet work, capturing light, transforming it into sugar, distributing it where it is needed, storing it for later. You feel the calm certainty of this process spreading through your chest, warming your shoulders, softening your jaw. The lullaby hums gently, continuous and unbroken. A tiny, soft humor drifts into your mind. Sunlight, air, water, sugar, and leaves have been performing this patient symphony for millions of years, long before humans noticed, long before you arrived. And yet here you are, breathing slowly, smiling quietly, feeling part of it all. You rest in this gentle amusement, chest rising and falling with the patient rhythm of the world. Inhale, pause, exhale. You imagine energy flowing within leaves, moving quietly through veins, nourishing growth, feeding roots, supporting stems and flowers. Life continues its intricate, patient work. Even without your observation, the leaf's green listener attends to its tasks. The sun continues to arrive. Water continues its slow memory. Air continues to exchange. Sugar moves steadily, silently, calmly. Everything functions exactly as it should, perfectly aligned, endlessly patient. You breathe with this rhythm, chest expanding in unison with the quiet pulse of leaves, exhaling tension, inhaling presence. Awareness alone is a soft participation, enough to feel warmth spread through your body, enough to recognize the invisible work that sustains the world, enough to let your mind drift, your limbs soften, your heart settle. Inhale, pause, exhale. The plants, the sunlight, the water, the air. They are independent yet intertwined, each element performing its part in a slow, careful symphony. Leaves remain receptive, yet they do not wait for applause. They transform light into life quietly, patiently, reliably. And you, resting beneath them, sense this orchestration in your own body, a gentle alignment of awareness with the calm rhythm of existence. A soft laugh drifts in your mind. Humans often forget that the world functions even when unobserved. Leaves keep singing, sugar keeps forming, life keeps listening. There is humor in this quiet independence, a playful reminder that patience and consistency are the true architects of persistence. You feel your own body relax further, a deep, unhurried sigh flowing out, a soft acknowledgement of life's continuous rhythm. Inhale, Pause. Exhale. The green listener in the leaf holds its song, patiently capturing sunlight, processing water, exchanging air, distributing sugar. You sense that this lullaby will continue long after you rise, long after you leave, long after the moment passes. And you feel reassured. Nothing you do or do not do affects the patient flow of life. Everything is held, everything is maintained, everything is quietly sustained. Breathing slows almost to stillness. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. You notice the warmth of the day fading gently into shadow. The air moves softly, carrying the faint scent of leaves, the whisper of distant rustling, the subtle vibration of unseen life. You rest in this calm, feeling the soft pulse of energy flowing silently through plants, soil, and air. You are a witness, a participant through awareness, but no action is required. Presence alone is enough. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. The lullaby hums quietly, continuous and dependable. Leaves remain open windows, listening. Sunlight continues its arrival, water its patient rise, air its gentle exchange. Sugar moves steadily, nourishing the plant, supporting life, storing energy for the future. Everything flows without hurry, without pressure, without expectation. You rest within the certainty, chest warm, limbs soft, mind gently quiet. A soft realization drifts across you. The world does not need observation to sustain itself. Life proceeds, calm and steady, perfectly patient, whether anyone notices or not. And in this thought, you feel a profound comfort, a gentle reassurance that everything functions exactly as it should, perfectly and continuously. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. You sense that the lullaby, patient and enduring, will extend beyond the plant, beyond the forest, beyond the landscape, carrying nourishment, carrying energy, carrying life forward. Leaves continue to listen, sunlight continues to arrive, water continues its rise, air continues to exchange, sugar continues to travel, transformation continues silently, patiently, unhurried. And you, resting beneath them, are aligned with this calm rhythm, breathing slowly, resting completely. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. A final awareness settles softly over you. Life does not require your observation to thrive. The leaves, the green listeners, the sunlight, the water, the air, the sugar, they all continue their patient, gentle, dependable work. You can rest, fully present, fully calm, fully aligned, knowing that the world sustains itself quietly, continuously, perfectly. Your chest rises slowly with one last deep inhale. Pause. Exhale. The lullaby continues whether heard or not, whether noticed or not, whether watched or left alone. Leaves remain patient windows. Sunlight continues its song. Life keeps listening. You rest, your breath slowing, your body soft, your mind quiet, carried gently into the calm certainty of a world that quietly feeds itself, moment by moment, endlessly, without need for observation, without demand, without interruption. And in this knowledge, you drift into the next moment, fully aligned with the patient rhythm of life, completely at peace.